It goes without saying that a good horror game strives upon the constant tension and fear for players, pushing onwards into the unknown, and terrified of each turn in the corner, with a warning lingering in the back of our psyche saying, someone is there, true or not. And although I am a coward and refuse to play any games that don't include the main character carrying an entire arsenal, I do adore the horror genre. If I could just pinpoint what makes horror games horrifying, it's the influence of uncertainty. That clenching feeling of unsure outcomes of exploration, with limited vision, sprinkled with some illuminations, and wonder why even in this situation in the first place, followed by suspense to keep you on guard. However, the popularity of horror stems from the many franchises like Five Nights at Freddy's, with only the tension leading up to an in-your-face type of horror.
No!
Not to throw shade at Scott Coffin, since the first one was great, and the fourth one being unplayably scary, but you know how they usually start. You're in an abandoned / haunted play place called Lulu Playground, the home of Mr. Scribbly Dob. You must find your lost children, discover that the place is comically larger than it seems, and who the hell is the mastermind behind all of this. Oh, and we're making at least 6 and up sequels to this, each with 1% of lore dropped, that makes absolutely no sense, but MatPat will love it, and the rest will be all too similar with minor additions. We'll call it Survive 5 Nights at Garden of Playtime, featuring lobotomy. Jump scare, jump scare, jump scare! At first, I was gonna make a review about My Friendly Neighborhood to show a decent mascot horror game, but I scrapped the entire idea in general. I need something completely different. Something that moves away from all the mascots and jump scares. I needed that terror to linger, to bring back that uncertainty and the desire to discover. After many candidates and a little bit of help from friends, one stood out to me. You peer out from what seems to be a cryopod inside a seemingly maintained room. The questions you might ask is, who are you? Where am I? What's going on? Why did I awaken? Doorways and corridors are cluttered with discoveries, and past knowledge that seems too foreign, yet familiar for us to understand. Although subconsciously, it would feel as if this is what we should know. What we can perceive, while exploring, is that leaving is an option available to us. Before us is a console with basic information in regards to the subsequent ship you're inside. Other rooms provide another cryopod, an airlock, and a cockpit. Approaching the cockpit, we peer out towards an Arctic landscape. Our bearing zone to begin. Our objective is a blur, and the desolate wasteland awaits us, with bated breath. Different locations emphasize the state of uncertainty, no matter what room you're in. No matter the places, if you already explored the locations, or are fully prepared, you will never be safe. You'll never be ready, and you'll never feel fully complacent in the surrounding area. Even if it's brightly lit, there's a sentiment of danger. The details and the intentions are always obscured, to be slowly unraveled, with or without your realization. The area we traverse seems to be loosely connected. It is nothing that we can't comprehend, it is that we cannot fathom the reasons behind all of them, nor the fact that some areas will not be answered. And yet, it would seem that we could traverse to the premise fluently, within our single operation to push forward, even if our instincts inform us of our mismanagement of decisions. Investigation is the strong factor here. You won't go far without checking for ammo, weapons, puzzle pieces, lore, and other new materials. Interfacing with collected items can award you with insight. Perhaps you may find more use to these items than originally presumed. And I'm not talking about the bullets. What makes Signalis unique from usual horror games? It does akin itself towards the classics, like Resident Evil and Silent Hill. Combat in this game is not the end solution to all problems, but provides a way to have some leverage room, even if it's only for a brief moment. Whether it be an act to spend ammo or to find alternate routes, this game can keep the pressure, but it also provides ample enough time for you to commit to a course of action, given there are situations where evading is the preferred choice. Engagement is not really discouraged, although it is a way to temporarily disable them. It is a blessing that we aren't stuck with the handgun, despite it being versatile. Revolver, my beloved. The game offers a variety of weapons for your needs, or if you just have a preference. However, you cannot carry an entire arsenal, and it's surprisingly explained in the game as you are limited with only 6 slots. Which doesn't sound all that terrible on the surface, until you realize you need to haul your ammo, your tools, your support utilities, and more. So what are we shooting? Well, there are 2 enemies that can be mentioned without going into spoilage. The basic horde enemies such as knife-wielding remains and a towering guard with a shield are two examples, and they're also great storytelling devices. And what are they? I'm not gonna tell you. I would like to demonstrate one of my favorite parts of the game, driving the narrative of the world around you without having to say a single word. For example, a light shining down upon the glass ceiling, illuminating into unknown territory with many corridors to venture from, inviting the player to explore more as to pique the curiosity of what's beyond that light. We might even reach it if we try. Even within the small cramped hallways brimming with hostiles patrolling about, the entire section has that subtle, calming ambience, with blue hues, light sources, and open areas to explore. But, of course, we're not here to loiter. It was too good to be true. The once trusted and familiar sectors become a hindrance, with the red, gory mush followed by dimmed and darkened places. As if the facility itself is against us. Is it alive? Does it know our way out? Who knows? Maybe we'll find a kiss. The ambience correlates to the situation expertly. From dealing with threats that blare out anxiety-inducing music, which really does hide my anxiousness and basically informs me that I am going to implode. Then, to the soothing chorus of a safe room. A chance to take a breather and reminisce about the next strategy while sorting out items. However, all of them share the same shrouded case of unsettledness, even with the calming music. It is an unsure feeling for sure. It brings in that uneasiness that cannot be quelled. Overall, I do love how it blends in well with either the background or within the foreground to really amplify the ongoing situation. Each instance of exploration and progression, our reasoning to march onward is usually shrouded in an aura of mystique that evolves throughout. Why are we marching through what are essentially death traps, and to exit the derelict spacecraft, wandering into the desolated wasteland? All we do know, however, is that we're stumbling upon facilities and sectors fighting through the cabal of horrors below. The game benefits from environmental subtlety, as it would be incredibly boring if the game was to spoon-feed you the story. The exhilaration of unmasking the many problems that we're going to face, which only seems to invite more, allows the players to appreciate the environment and the game's story a lot more. The objectives themselves grow much more into labyrinths that bronze the intricacies which the story unfolds before us. As aforementioned, we begin in a deserted spacecraft, wandering into your typical institutional sectors, then shifting abruptly towards those that are pulsating with unnatural life. Thus, push the player to seek a conclusion, or some sort of response towards this nightmarish purgatory. Hopefully, it won't be The Last of Us. I really do not wish to spoil any answers to any of these puzzles. So, I will only talk about two of many I've picked to demonstrate the puzzles and how amazing they are to decipher and figure out, and to show that this isn't a goddamn walkthrough. The general idea for this segment relies upon many additional factors for this light beam-like show to happen. You have 4 apps to rely upon, with many numbered antennas to choose from, and 2 antennas are powered. A transmitter that powers the selected antenna with 3 files, instructions, and emails. Overlooking the obvious invasion of privacy, you would have to override the power of the 2 antennas to the needed antennas, but this will be left up to you. Another puzzle that I will mention briefly will be this one. This room only has 2 properties, the glass case of butterflies and a safe with a 4-letter combination. A simple puzzle that requires not to just blaze through the papers, but it can be solved in 2 or more ways, just with a bit of foresight. These aren't the only puzzles you encounter, obviously, as it provides a mix of quality and quantity. A good blend, and really makes investigation more impactful. It encourages you to ponder about the puzzles. It isn't just a simple point and shoot at lover puzzles, and I love all the puzzles in the game. Brings a satisfaction that is like being pat on the back for a good job. Just don't forget who is patting you on the back. Suspense, uncertainty, and discovery. All 3 key points that forge a good horror game, and Signalis exceeds them all together without being so direct and up to your face. To further yourself in this swirling chaos while keeping an engaging system with combat, exploration, and puzzle solving. And to figure out the cause of it all was captivating to me. I have been resisting spoiling this game, and I really wish for you to play it by yourself and experience it. All you need to know is that in the end, a promise was made.